How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Let's talk about the worst case scenario if we're still in a bull market. Like, how bad could it get if we continue to move up, but like if there's some drop short term in the meantime? Because there are a couple levels below where we are right now that I think would cause like a lot of people to shift bearish, but enough people might shift that then the exchanges and the whales jump back in and send us up pretty quickly. So I'll explain what I mean there. But if you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. Also, if you want to check me out over on Telegram, I'll leave a link to that underneath the video. There have been more and more people getting banned on YouTube. I don't want that to happen to me again, but that happened to me a couple weeks ago just for posting my normal video. So join me on Telegram. And if you want to trade over on BYDFi, we have about 4 days left where you can get up to $10,000 worth of Bitcoin for trading on the platform. The more you trade, the more you can earn in bonuses. And make sure you understand what leverage trading is. But let's roll the disclaimer real quick. Just a reminder, this is not financial advice. This is not legal advice. Do your own research. I'm never going to reach out to you either in the comment section or through any other means to try to get you to invest in something that I'm investing in or to send me crypto. Some links underneath the video are affiliate links. I may earn a commission, but this is at no extra cost to you. Of course, do your own due diligence. Okay, so Bitcoin is down today. The traditional market's down a little bit too. The Nasdaq's down about 1%, just kind of cooling down after yesterday because the Nasdaq finished 2.3% up on the day. Bitcoin having more of a red day than the Nasdaq here, down 1.5%. And last night it went, Bitcoin went up to 107,500. So it's actually down about over $4,000 in about 12 hours. So big drop. Now we did break below this $104,500 support level that we saw yesterday. I was hoping that would actually hold so that we could continue to see higher highs, higher lows, flip this resistance into support, but we broke down slightly below that. And I know some people are bearish out there, but let's talk about let's say we're not just going into a bear market, right? And I went through the levels the other day. If we saw a 50% drop from the very top, that would put us around $63,000. Let's say we don't get down there, but let's say we have another dump down, kind of like these previous panic moments where a bunch of people flip bearish. How bad could it get? And, should we flip bearish at that point or bullish? Well, I found this pretty interesting. There's a vacuum under Bitcoin. Merlin, the trader, I don't know how to say that, sorry, but a pretty famous trader on Twitter says, there are two CME gaps remaining at $97,000 and $92,000. He explains that every gap since 2023 has gotten filled. So he's saying that we could see this too, and then a flip bullish. Now, this is below where we are now, obviously. It's also below where we saw previous support at 98,000. Now, this is below the 50-week SMA, which is something that has been holding support throughout the bull run. This would scare a lot of people, to be clear, and I've said this before. I think we could see a dip below this, and if we got to close below it, can you imagine? Like, people would be so freaked out saying that the end of the bull market is here, especially with it being Q4, and this could cause kind of mass panic, a capitulation. So if let's say we filled 97,000, we would go below the 50-week SMA. If we filled 92, we would be well below it. And a lot of people would flip bearish. Now that would be to 97,000, that'd be a 23% drop from the high. To go to 92,000, that'd be a 27% drop. We've seen much more than that. Throughout the bull run, we've seen 35% drops a handful of times. So that kind of drop isn't necessarily scary, but with it below the SMA line, a lot of people would be bearish. Now, would I be bearish? No, I don't think so. Of course, we could see a deeper bear market, but with us, let's say if we fell down to 25% below the all-time high. With us down 25%, I don't think we're going to see another 60% drop after that or anything like that. I don't think we're going to see any kind of bear market similar to what we've seen in the past. Of course, if the traditional market falls down, let's say 30%, Bitcoin's probably going to fall down 50 or 60. But I don't think we're going to see a 70% drawdown after we basically just 2x the previous high, less than that actually, from the last bull market. I don't think that's very likely. Keep in mind too that quantitative tightening is ending in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Rate cuts are going to continue. Quantitative easing is most likely returning in 2026. The government is reopening. Stimulus checks are likely coming, it's talked about that they're going to come here soon. So everything is lining up. Brian Rose talks about how there are $7.4 trillion in U.S. Treasury markets right now, or in money market funds. Right now, they're earning probably closer to like 4.5%. He says 5%, but I don't think they're that high. The Fed's already started cutting, and they're going to continue to cut. A lot of this yield is going to go away. Maybe it goes from 4.5% down to 3.5%. So let's say, a small percent of that goes into the traditional markets, or into the stock market, into crypto. This would be really good for risk on assets. Idle cash is patiently waiting until policy forces movement. Once yields fade, risk assets become gravity wells for liquidity. Even if we don't see a rotation, even if we don't see a lot of that money flow into risk on assets, new money most likely will be looking to go into the stock market or into crypto instead of into treasury yields or into money markets, right? It's much less likely that we're going to see this go up to 8 trillion or 9 trillion or $10 trillion, right? This new money will be looking to find a home in riskier assets. I've already thought about that for myself, right? I had cash sitting on the sidelines, and I want less cash because it's going to pay me a lot less in the future. And keep in mind too, a 5% yield in treasuries is not the same thing as a 5% appreciation in crypto or in stocks, right? You have to pay taxes, depending on where you're at, obviously. You have to pay taxes on this 5%. So this 5% is really like 3% for really wealthy individuals. Now, depending on how you do it, maybe you don't, maybe you can get around it, but it's not as tax efficient as buying high quality assets that appreciate over time. And then you can determine when you want to sell them and you don't get that yield. So let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. If we see panic, if we see, the market fall down another, let's say we saw the market fall down another 5-10%. I think that would cause a lot of panic, but I wouldn't want to sell, right? I'm not trying to sell all my Bitcoin at a 25% loss when the traditional markets are at all-time highs, and every indicator or every piece of news is actually bullish for Bitcoin right now, and we're going into a liquidity environment that's really positive for crypto. Of course, if you're a trader, right, you could have some liquidations under 100,000. That's why recently I did lower my liquidation prices. You can see here, this liquidation price is under $90,000. It looks like I'm down 62%, but this was on a trade that I had over 100% gain in, so I rolled it into another trade. So negative 50% is actually basically break even. So I am down slightly on this trade, but I lowered my liquidation price below some of those CME gaps. So that way, if we do see some kind of capitulation moment, most likely I won't get liquidated. Of course, you can always add extra margin to over on BUI DeFi. If you do want to trade, you can check it out underneath the video. We've been able to make life-changing amounts of money. We've taken profits throughout the bull run. If you want to do that, you can check out the link below. Again, we do have a little bit of time left on that trade to get $10,000 worth of Bitcoin event that we have going on. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I'll see y'all soon. Oh, by the way, in case this isn't clear, I'm not bearish on the market. I'm just saying if we do see some kind of capitulation event, I would expect, I expect maybe those CME gaps to be filled and for people to flip bearish. So I'm just saying that's one of the possibilities. I wouldn't be panicking if that happens, but of course, everyone's situation is different. So make sure you don't invest with any money that you need next week, right? That's never a good idea. Thank you so much.